Tamara asked how to raise eyelids, and I didn't raise them a whole lot. You can see a little bit here. This is the original. This is the one I just did quickly to kind of show a little trick that by putting in catch lights, like Mom has an original here, but none here. Dad has he's got a little bitty one there and probably none here. So just by dodging that out, making it show a little better, and then copying it to the other eye, we can make it look like the eyes are even open more than they are. So the first thing I did was, and I'm going to do this extra quick because, well, I always say that. Just before it gets long. Let's see here. I'm going to take, her arm seemed long and Dad's holding her elbow and it kind of pulled. But yeah, I'm going to do it more sloppy. So I didn't really follow that well. But I'm going to do a copy, edit, paste, and I want to bring her shoulder in. So see how I'm just using the nudge keys here, the arrows, and I'm bringing it over so it, and up a little. I'm going to go even a bit more, but see where I actually, let me see where I actually went over the stuff of her, the detail of her dress there? That's all right. Just bring it over, because then what you're going to do is take the eraser tool and just erase. Actually, that's a hard edge, I could tell. Yep. Because it didn't feather. So I'm going to take this eraser tool, soft brush, and then if you erase now, you just blended it in. Alright, then in the back, we're going to switch to the other layer, and again, I'm going to be quick and sloppy. Instead of cloning and doing it all nice and pretty, you can do that, but let's use the smudge tool here. And I'm just going to smudge the layer behind where her arm was. And just kind of faking his shirt here to go fairly quick. Maybe his neck. Pull it down here. Oops. Overstepping my boundaries. So like that. Then here on top, this is the new, that's the old one. We just got rid of it. That's the new overlay. And because I didn't do a nice clean select, we got a rough edge, but you can use the eraser tool and erase that, but you get the right idea. If I'd have selected it well, then we'd have a nice clean edge there. Same here, I got a little of his neck up here, so I'm going to take that off the top layer. So that's how I move the shoulder. That to that. And I'm not real happy with how I left this, so I got to clean up. Oops. Alright, so good enough. That brings the shoulder in. Let's flatten it because we're going to say that's done deal. And let's get back to the... Oh, I see one other problem, which I don't think I addressed on the other... I'm going to do it sloppy again. On the other one I worked on. But I see that her collar... I'm trying to figure out where to best come in here. I see that her collar is really off-center. See that issue? I'm actually going to go on her neck instead of on the edge because it's going to blend. And I'm going to do an edit, copy, and I'm going to do the same thing. But I'm going to bring it over to the right. And see what I'm doing? I'm making her V of her neck here centered and nice. So it was like that. See how it looks pulled? And that's part of why your shoulder was sticking out. So we brought it over. And then you would do the same thing. You would either take clone and clone down here. That's really probably the right way to do it. I use smudge just because it's quick and dirty. Alright, so that's how we would bring that over. And then I erase this. I see a little color difference here in her neck, so take the eraser again, soft edge brush, top layer, the paste it in. And by running the eraser over that, we're kind of feathering that edge. I see a little issue there too, so I'm going to erase it. So that brings over the whole outfit. Alright, let's flatten again. So we fixed her neckline. We might even want to zoom in here and fix it. Looks like the clasp to her jewelry, so you can get rid of that, but that's not what this video is about, right? So let's get in here, and first of all, let's enhance our genuine catch lights, because those are a guide of what, and I went a little far. I'm going to go a little hotter so you can see it. But that's genuine real life catch lights, so we want to really go with that. because we can't paint him in as nicely as nature does it. I'm just dodging her weights here a little bit too. All right, and then we see that we've got one catch light each, so we can either just go for the catch light, which is usually what I do, and then I push the eye afterwards. Otherwise, we can just push the eye. There's a couple ways to do that. We can take the entire eyelid, trying to decipher the best angle of attack here, and do a edit, copy, paste, and I had mentioned nudging it up, and it's pasted on. I'm going to hit the up arrow, bam, and I'm just going to do one, let's do 1 pixel. So this is it. I just raised it that much. I mean, we don't want to do facial reconstruction. We want to just raise that eye a little bit. And then on the under part here, we're on the lower layer. Let's actually get rid of this. I hid the top layer, so I'm going to actually push his eye up here a little. We can get his eyelashes out of there too. So I'm just pushing it up so it's not in the way. And it doesn't really have to be pretty because it's going to be covered, but just getting it out of the way. And it looks weird, but now watch. I'm going to turn on the pasted on lid, and there it is. Now at the top, we can do the, oops, we can do the fade again, but we have to be on the proper layer. So I just kind of erase the edge of that upper eyelid. So that one's about set. You can come in here again and clean it up a little. And then come over here. I kind of ruined his pupil, but I didn't worry about it because I'm going to do the clone tool. I'm going to hold my Alt key. I'm going to center on that pupil. Bam. I'm going to sample. I'm going to put where his pupil should be. And it's going to clone the pupil and the catch light. And sometimes you even take that catch light like up over his skin. And it'll add it in there and it'll look great. And if it doesn't want to do it, then take this and just dodge it again, dodge it a little more. Now, sometimes when you over dodge and there's nothing there, you get a color in there, and I'm seeing red. So I'm going to go to desaturate 100% and real tiny brush, and I'm just going to desaturate that catch light so that there's no color in it. Might as well hit Moz as long as I'm ready. All right, and then we're going to zoom out. His eye whites are quite red too. I probably did that in the original. Leaving it 100%, I'm just going to hit his eye whites here, and it just pulls that pinkish out of them. It just cleans it up. Again, that's not what this video is about, but let's do it. So his eyes, look at how much nicer that is. Let me see if I can go back to the original. All right, there's the original. And watch what happens. Bam. And what's neat is our right eye, his left eye, was not even touched. I didn't raise that lid. And look how much more open it looks. Here it goes. Bam. And then this one, of course, was a little droopier by just lifting that a little bit and putting that catch light in there. Look at, bam. Big improvement. Same thing for Mom here. We could do the same thing, or we could go a little different. I had mentioned, that was the cut and paste of the lid and bump it up. I had mentioned you can use liquify. And then you take this thing, which is just your zoom in, and then this is your warp. And then using the size of the brush again, if you want to warp something big, you make a big brush. See, I just warped her nose. If you wouldn't want to do that to the eye because you're going to warp the whole eye, so we don't want that. So we're going to bring the brush down to a decent size and just push. And it's going to push the size of the brush. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to do facial reconstruction, but you just want to, keep it real, but maybe the angle had her eye open a little more than people are used to seeing. Maybe it's the better angle or something. So it's still real. We don't want to make it so it's not her. So I pushed, and then you can do OK, and that will commit it. Okay, and watch what happens. There it is. So this was before. This is after. And the real helper here is going to be that catch light. So again, we're going to go into the, I got 100% clone, and I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to center on her pixel, on her pupil. Click. And her pupil would be about there, even though you think, all right, I'm going to hit the lid. Well, tough. That's where the pupil belongs. So I'm going to go higher than I should. And clone over. And that might even raise the lid a little as well. Do a little cloning up. And it came off a little funny. Let's bring some skin down here. Still not too bad. Let's zoom out and take a look. That one could be better. Maybe let's try and lower that pupil a little bit. Sometimes if you do, it looks weird. But then the other thing is we don't want it to be too sharp or it looks like it's artwork. So I'll do a blur tool really low, maybe 20%. And just by blurring the work here, it makes it more real because nothing's real sharp. And let's go even softer and blur the catch lights even just a touch so they're not like they're painted on. And the blur his just a touch too. All right, let's zoom out and see what we got. There we go, major improvement. Let's go back to the original. Also let's look at her shoulder this time. We're looking down at the shoulder and the neckline. Bam, so much better. This time we're going to look at his eyes. So look up at his eyes. That's before, after. And this time let's look at her eyes. That's before, and that's after. So very nice. And then optionally, even though I wanted to do it quick and I wasn't worried about details bother me if I leave them. So I'm going to quickly fix that little flaw there. Fix that little flaw, and I'm just taking the clone tool and there, much better. I had mentioned this little spot back here bugs me. I can't help but do it, no matter how fast I want to be. All right, then I also worked on her skin just a touch. You could do that same thing, I think. I think you could put it into liquify and push it up, but I don't know. I'm just going to just soften. And that's a little too much. Let's go 25 again. And we don't want her friends to laugh and go, what? Who's she trying to kid, you know? You want it to be real. So you want to leave those issues, but just soften them, just to play it down. Then in here, just a little harsh, so we'll just come from above, come from below, a little here, just soften, keeping it. A little something there, a little something there. The frowns are up here, maybe because it's bright. She may not have those all the time, so we're just going to soften. Could be because of the bright sky behind Tamara when she was shooting it. Leaving those, but softening. Under the eyes, same thing. Let's leave it. She doesn't want to look 20, or people are going to think they're going to go, wow. You know, same on Dad here. Let's just soften him a bit. A little on that chin, a little there, and we're leaving them. We're just kind of killing the contrast on it. And often what I'll do there is I'll clone a place, like I'm going to clone right here, and I'm only going to move a fraction, and just do that a lot. And it's just blurring everything a little bit, but it's keeping the details there. Same thing on Dad. I'm going to get a little smaller brush and take that frown out. I'm going to soften that across his, soften this. If we can get rid of the frowns, it will help a lot. Keeping all those lines, details of the face, but let's soften this. Soften. Under eyes. Just a little bit of cheek, not removing it. There's a little light play down here. If we can take the lighter area and put it in the shadow and take the darker area and put it in the lighter area, we will soften that transition and help minimize the texture. The light here was very good, but the problem with very good light is it reveals facial details. And that would be about it right there. Optionally, again, you could take the dodge tool overall, very low this time, 14, and just pass it over the eyes in general. It's because the sockets are a little dark. Let's zoom out and take a look. There it would be finished. Let's go back to, this is the original. Wow. Finished. And I think we even did a better job than I did the first time. So you can do it either way. You can copy that lid, paste it, bump it up, and push up everything under it. You can use the liquefy and just push that area up. Most important thing that I was trying to show is by adding a second catch light, you can really give the impression that the eyes are opened more. And we started with the catch lights that we had, the original.